Today I'm going to be looking at the VOLTME Revo series gallium nitride charger. Now this is a larger charger because it's powerful. It's 140 watts total output, and you can do that through a variety of ports here. 2 USB-Cs and a USB-C or USB-A. Technically it's probably upside down about like that. This is a little bit larger charger. Here's a 65 watt energy, which I looked at a while ago. You can see it is smaller by quite a bit, but it's also quite a bit less power. The packaging here is nice. You do get a nice, looks like a metal box, but it's really cardboard. It tells you a little bit about it, tells you the outputs, which I will let you pause there. We will take a look at that here in a minute. And inside you just get a manual, nothing else really. So hopefully you can kind of see this, and I'll explain kind of how much power you're able to get by doing that. You can pull a full 140 watts via the USB-C port here at the top, if that's the only thing you have plugged in. I don't have anything to test or pull nearly that much power. You can also pull 100 watts if you're just using that second USB-C port. And if you're using just the USB-A port, it can pull 22.5 watts via USB-C, or sorry, via USB-A via QC3. Then you get in your combinations, which I think is probably the most powerful part of this charger. I've been using it the most in this configuration here with the 2 USB-C options, and that's going to pull 65 watts a piece, so about 130 watts there if my math is correct. You can do any combination of USB-C port 1 and then the USB-A port, or USB-C 2 and USB-A to pull 122.5. And if you pull all three, you do get a little bit of decline there. 65 watts, 45 watts, and 22.5 watts. So hopefully that makes sense here. Reality is you can use this to power probably 2 laptops and charge a phone at the same time, or tablet, no problem. You could use it to charge other high wattage devices. I'm going to show you using a pine saw here. So I can charge my laptop at the same time I'm soldering, which is pretty cool, in using the C2C mode. And I could even charge my phone and do that too, most likely. Before I do that though, I want to show you what this is capable of for the different protocols and things it can do. So we just run that with my CT3 meter here and let it run. And that is done here. Let's see if we can get this to focus. There we go. So quite a few options that it can do. QC2 20 volt is one that I don't see that works. And I'm not seeing, it does do Samsung PPS, 63 watts. Quite a few different options there. Let's put it in port 2 and run the same test again. So not quite as capable here on port 2. Very similar. You've got a few more things though in red for sure here. Not super surprised by that. And let's run the same test again on the USB-A port. So quite a fewer things there that you can see. This one may not be the best choice of cable here either, but quite a bit less that it can do. And it's not even picking up QC3 here, but I think that's the cable I've got possibly. Okay, let's see what this is like in real life here. So I've got my laptop here. It is fairly uncharged, probably 25% or so power, and it's pulling 28 watts right now plugged in via the top USB-C here. So just on its own, nothing else is actually plugged in. If I want to solder, I can plug in my pine saw soldering iron here. And if you guys don't have a soldering iron, highly recommend the Pine Saw. It's Pine Saw 2 with a clear case. These are like $25 and USB-C, and they're just super nice. So I plug it in here, tell it to wake up, and it's going to pull power here. You can see it's pulling 50 watts initially here to heat up. And I've got mine set on a fairly low temperature, so it'll start pulling less power. Let me crank up the temperature there to a more soldering temperature, say 320, and it's going to heat up pretty quick there. It's already 273, coming up to temp here. And this draws little bursts of power, so the cable doesn't always read correctly. And sometimes if I unplug and replug, that will work a little bit better. But you can see here, while it is doing this, the charger on the laptop will flick off for just a second. And what that's doing is that is negotiating power between the devices. That's common for USB-C. So we'll let that sit there. Last thing I'm going to plug in here is my power bank connected to my Nicor power bank here. It's connected to the meter. and we can see that's pulling 18 watts. So the laptop is pulling 28 watts. The soldering iron here has went to sleep. I'll poke it again here. Let it start drawing power. Crank the temp up. It's pulling 29, 30 watts, no problem there. And then the power bank is pulling 18 charging. So this will happily sit here and do this all day long with various devices bursting and negotiating and getting more power as needed. The power supply here is cool to the touch at the moment. It will get a little bit warm the more you use it, but not dangerously warm or anything like that. Overall, I'm really happy with this VOLTME gallium nitride charger. 140 watts is a ton of power in the modern age, and if you need a high wattage charger, I can definitely recommend this one. It seems to be reliable. I've been using it for a month or two now, pretty consistently every day, and I've had no issues with it at all. So definitely check it out if you're in the market, and I'll have links in the description on where you can find it on Amazon. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching these videos, and I'll catch you on the next one.